Hi, my name's Paul. I'm a professional teacher at elite private school in Thailand. Welcome back to my channel for another video. In my comments, I've been getting a lot of questions about one of the previous videos I did, which is American bar culture. Specifically, I've been getting a lot of questions about American dating culture and about relationships. So I'm going to answer the most common questions that I've been getting, and I'll try to go into detail. I'm going to answer these questions from the perspective of a Chinese person who's going to the US. How are these questions relevant to you, and what do you need to know? So the first question I've been getting, the most common question is American dating habits and relationship habits. Do Americans establish relationships before they date? So this question just depends. It's a very general question, and there's specific answers depending on what kind of American you're talking about. For example, a very traditional Christian American is going to be much more conservative about relationships and dating than most Americans are, and many Americans are not conservative at all about relationships and dating. In modern American culture, there's something called hookup culture. And what that means is that many Americans today, especially young Americans, use dating apps like Tinder, and they tend to have casual sex with a lot of partners. Now, from the perspective of a Chinese person, you want to avoid Americans like this. You're never going to have a relationship with one, and it's always going to cause you problems. Just don't get involved with people like this. I would suggest not even using dating apps like Tinder. They're full of American men who are very manipulative, who have a lot of experience manipulating women, and they're only going to want sex, but they're going to do a really good job of pretending like they want a relationship, and they're going to lie to you until they get what they want and then break up with you. Now, of course, there are exceptions to this, but that's the rule, and I would strongly suggest avoiding Tinder. There are other dating apps you can use, like OkCupid or Plenty of Fish, but even these ones are going to cause a lot of problems. My general piece of advice would be to try to meet people in person, and I'll get into how to do that in a few minutes here. So the question, do Americans date before they establish relationships? The answer is it just depends. And you're going to want to, if you're looking for a relationship with an American, or you're looking for someone to date, you're going to want to find someone who is looking for a relationship as well. Someone who wants to find someone to be serious about, not someone who wants to date a lot of people. And most of the young Americans today are going to want to date a lot of people. So it's a little bit of a challenge to find someone who's going to be suitable for you. But it is possible, and I'll give you some ideas and some strategies about how you can try to find someone like that. So the follow-up question to this, or it's related to this, is open dating or exclusive dating. In America, open dating is normal, just like hookup culture is normal. But you don't want to date someone who does open dating or does hookup culture. They're always going to hurt you. It's never going to be a good relationship for you, and your best bet is going to be to move on from that person and try to find people who are looking for relationships or exclusive dating, not open dating. Okay, as a continuation of that question, open dating or exclusive dating, how can you tell the difference between someone who's looking for open dating or exclusive dating? The best way to do that is, number one, to learn about body language, to learn how to read people, and to see who's being genuine with you and who is trying to manipulate you. Again, this is a challenge for Chinese people because American body language and culture is different than Chinese. Americans tend to be much more open. Our body language is more exaggerated. And also Chinese people aren't used to the level of dishonesty and manipulation that many Americans will do. So what I would suggest to you is, number one, go slow. Don't rush into anything with anyone. If you meet someone who's actually interested in you, they'll be willing to go slow and take time. And you need to communicate with them. Be very open about your expectations, about your goals, about what you're looking for. And then in addition to that, trust your instinct. But what a piece of very specific advice I would give you is never have sex with someone soon after meeting them. And you're probably going to want to wait. Maybe 1 month would be the shortest amount of time I would suggest waiting. Maybe 3 months would be a more realistic goal. And if you're dealing with someone who's very manipulative, who just wants sex, and you tell them that you're not ready, you're not ready, you're not ready, sooner or later they're going to give up and they're just going to go away. And that's what you want to happen. You want to eliminate people by telling them you're not going to have sex with them, or maybe even tell them you're waiting until marriage, or wait until marriage. If you want to be very safe, then waiting until marriage is probably the best thing you can do. If you wait until marriage, especially for a woman, then 95% of the men who aren't looking for a relationship, who aren't serious, will just go away. And that's, again, what you want to happen. Now, for men trying to date American women, it's different. A lot of American women are in hookup culture as well. Again, it just depends what you want, but I would suggest staying away from them unless you want to try that as well. Men and women tend to have different outcomes in relationships. They get involved in different ways, and they have different experiences. So women tend to get hurt much more easily from having sex with men than men do from women, whereas men tend to get much more hurt after investing a lot of time and emotion in women and then having the relationship get hurt. So all of this advice is going to depend on if you're a man or a woman. Again, these are very complicated questions, and I'm just trying to address your questions as best I can. So question 3, in American culture, what are hugs and kisses? What do they mean? When are they appropriate? I know Chinese culture is very closed, traditionally at least, in terms of hugging, kissing. Usually you don't want to do these things unless you're in a relationship with someone, and that's true in America as well. I would suggest avoiding any sexual contact. Hugging is okay, but kissing or anything else, unless you've had a conversation with someone and you said you're looking for a relationship and you've been very specific about your expectations and your goals. Now, how to tell if someone is being sincere with you on a date or in a relationship. I already covered some of this earlier. Be clear about your expectations. Be honest with them about what you want. Don't let them manipulate you. Don't let them say, well, I like you so much, but I need to have sex with you to know if I want to be in a relationship with you, or something like that. A lot of American men will tell you those sorts of things, and they're very good at manipulating women. They have many years of experience manipulating women. And so trust your instinct. Never do something you think isn't right, and always go slow. Always take your time. It's possible that something like sexual harassment can happen on a date, that he can be very aggressive physically. If that happens, you should probably just leave. Don't talk to that person again. Don't let them give you excuses as to why they did what they did. You need to be clear with them before you go on a date, when you're on a date, and after the date, what your expectations are and what's going on with them. So now, the more complicated, this is probably the most difficult question out of all of them. If you're a Chinese man or woman, what's the best way to get a serious relationship with an American person? The answer is it depends who you are, at what point in your life you're at, etc. So, for example, a college student, university student, I'd suggest getting involved in a lot of activities, depending on what your interests are, because you're going to want to find someone with similar interests to you. Again, don't use dating apps. I strongly encourage you to avoid dating apps. And the best thing to do is going to be to meet someone in person at your school, maybe in your class, and get involved with activities, get involved in clubs, sports, whatever your hobbies are, and try to find someone with similar hobbies. If you're older, if you're a working professional, it's a good way to meet someone like at your job or at professional groups or activities. So, for example, if you're an engineer, then get involved in different engineering groups, engineering clubs. There will be a lot of them if you're in a big city, and try to meet other engineers. You want to meet someone who is at the same level as you in terms of status, in terms of age, in terms of competence, in terms of income. That's going to give you the best chance of having a successful relationship. What do men and women do on a date in the U.S.? It depends. Again, it's a cultural thing. I would suggest avoiding people who want to go to the bar or want to go out drinking with you, especially on the first date. Usually that's a strong indicator that they're looking for sex, not relationships. But you want to just do things that give you an opportunity to get to know someone, that lets you talk to them. So whether that's walking around in a park or going to a movie, going to dinner, going to sports games, different activities. There's many different things you can do. You want to make sure that you're going in a public place. Don't go to someone's house on the first date or second date or third date. Don't go somewhere private with them. You want to be safe. You want to be in an open place. And things like date rape do happen, so you need to be careful about that. It's pretty rare, but men do sometimes drug women to take advantage of them. So you need to be aware of your surroundings all the time. I suggest not leaving your drink, your water on the table when you're not there. For example, if you have to use the restroom, when you come back, ask for a new glass of water, order a new drink. Just be careful of that. Be careful of the surroundings, and especially be very conscientious about the body language and the way the person you're with is acting. Trust your instinct. If something doesn't feel right, then just leave. Don't feel guilty about it. You're not under any obligations to that person. And you need to take care of yourself and protect yourself first. Okay, the last question. Who pays for dinner on a date? Usually the man will pay, but it just depends. If it's a very informal date, very casual date, then the bill will be split, or sometimes the bill will be split even on a less casual date, depending on the circumstances. But usually, if the man wants the woman to pay, then you should just leave, avoid that person, because that's not going to end well for you. I hope everybody found this helpful. This is a very difficult topic. Chinese and American dating culture and relationships are very different. So it's something that you need to take slowly, and don't rush into. Try to have patience. It's better to be bored or to be lonely than to get hurt badly, especially for women. If you have bad experiences with men, it can be very damaging to women. If you found this helpful, please share with your friends, so I can help as many people as possible. Please please comment. If you have any questions, I read all of the comments and I try to respond as much as possible. And thank you so much for watching.